Welcome back, listeners, to How Good Was It? Where we are back with another retro review. This is the second half to our retro review of Surf Ninjas, a pick by Dana, but we'll get to that.
Thank
Hello,
you for
Scott.
clarifying that. Hey, June. Welcome back.
Welcome back, man. And welcome back, Dana. What's up, man?
Ohio gozaimasu.
Boo.
As you can hear,
Konbanwa.
listeners, yeah, Scott's not holding back. He's cutting loose already, man. I'm gonna reserve.
This is why Scott chooses all the movies. You know what I mean?
Wow, wow. Let's see what happens. As we said before, yes, there's the second half to our retro review of Surf Ninjas, and this was a pick by Dana. Dana has suffered through some of Scott's and I picks. And I gotta say the tables have turned, haven't they? He let us have it with this one. God bless him for it. He was due, and he got his due with Surf Ninjas. Let's dive in. Well, before I get into that, though, sorry guys, I do have to remind our listeners, and in particular our YouTube viewers, that look below this video in the description and hit one of those links to get the full length audio podcast to this episode. You're gonna hear us shit all over Surf Ninjas, among many other things. um, oh Dana, you knew that was coming.
My childhood.
No. No, listeners, yes. This is a full-length audio podcast, over an hour, sometimes two. We go in deep. We have a lot of fun doing it. We go over plots, details, you name it, we go over it, and we have a bunch of laughs doing it. So do yourself a favor, log on, tune in, and let us know how you feel. Let us know how Surf Ninjas made you feel. Because
Don't
Scott and
watch
I are
Surf
gonna let
Ninjas.
Dana know how
Yeah,
Surf Ninjas
don't watch
Surf
it.
Ninjas, baby.
Just listen to the
Surf
podcast.
Ninjas.
Any observations before we go? Scott's already girding himself. He took a deep breath.
Observations. I thought you were gonna ask me facts and figures, which are scary for this movie. But
Well, please, if you do have them, please, by all means, enlighten us, man. Go.
all right. So this was 1993. How old were you in 1993, Dana?
So 93. Yeah, so I guess I was 9. Yeah, I was 9.
Okay, I was
9/11.
21. And June, you
Yeah.
were maybe
Oh,
23,
I was like
24.
45 or something. I don't know.
Okay.
50.
Just to keep that in context. This movie grossed $4,900,000. It didn't make it to 5 million. So
Let's go.
yeah, let's go. I don't even normally I would round it up, but it doesn't deserve to be rounded up. They claim this movie did not do well in the box office because it wasn't promoted, because at that time New Line Cinema was being sold and it just got lost in the works. But I don't think it would have helped.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's all I got for facts and figures, guys. There was no budget listed for this film. This
Really?
film. All right, so when we decided to watch this film, we normally have to buy a lot of stuff on pay-per-view. Right. And normally a lot of times we end up having to rent something for $4 or buy it for $6. This film does not appear in pay-per-view at all. I type in Surf Ninjas and it says 3 ninjas every time. So it doesn't exist on pay-per-view. Luckily on YouTube it does exist. And on YouTube, every time I watch a YouTube movie, there's a million ads, and it's like because I don't pay for the premium, so it's rough. This had absolutely no ads in it. Nobody wanted this. YouTube was like, just take this fucking thing, we don't care. They didn't want to put their ad on it. I watched it clear and free in YouTube.
I do remember this movie being promoted. The other day, my wife asked me, actually just last night, I didn't watch the movie till today, just about 2 hours ago, maybe. But last night, my wife always asks me, not that she listens to the podcast. I don't know why she bothers asking, but she sometimes she gets curious and she'll be like, "What movies are you guys doing this week?" And I was like, "We're doing Surf Ninjas," and she was like, "What's that?" So we got curious. She was like, "Let's check out the trailer," and she was just like, What? Like you guys are doing
You should be
so
excited. It's all Filipinos in this movie. There's a bunch of
wow.
Filipinos in this movie.
Dude, no, actually, we could go deeper into that. It's not all.
Oh well, yeah, it's for sure it's not all. Yeah, it is filmed in Thailand, and they did use three separate languages for one language. But yeah, whatever.
Well, what struck me about the trailer is that
Yeah,
it is
great trailer.
so early
Yeah,
90s. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
very.
straight up 90s. Like it has everything. I mean, as far as video wise, cinematography, whatever, and
Mhm.
even the way the trailer was edited, we're talking about the early 90s coming off of MTV. And
Mhm.
MTV just totally disrupted cinematography as a whole. You got into this rapid editing and just short clips and short bursts of things, right? And this movie had that. This trailer had that in
Yeah.
spades. It was like, and it kind of took me back to the early 90s of like, yeah, there was a lot of this. Like commercials had that same look,
Hmm.
sitcoms had that look. And this movie is very much of its
Well,
time.
this
Um,
director, this director basically was known as a TV director. I'm not sure if he did any
oh.
other movies. So he did like a bunch of TV, and it's kind of this kind of stuff. It's kind of like the Nickelodeon kind of stuff, and it's kind of he's
Yes,
not
yes.
really, and it looks like a TV show more than it looks like a movie. This is not cinema.
Oh, wow. I was
It's like
curious. Uh,
my goodness, like, don't we still do like how good it is like at the end? Like, is that what's the name of this podcast? I am so confused. Scott has me misdirected. That's all I'm
uh,
saying.
yeah, I mean, again, this was a movie of its time. And I do remember that look very well. It just took me straight back to the way everything was edited back
well,
then as
and the
far as
clothes
film.
too. Ernie
Oh
Reyes
yeah,
Jr.
very
wearing
much.
his overalls for the first half, well, for most of the movie is very 1993 as well.
I will say this about Mr. Reyes Jr., right? I forgot, I'm used to seeing him as a child, maybe preteen at the oldest, right? I remember him
Hmm.
from earlier movies in the 80s. So it kind of took me a minute it took a minute for me to register that it was him. That it was him as this like, I guess I don't know if he was a teenager in
I
his
think he was
early
18 or 19 when he filmed this.
yeah. And so I was like, whoa, like he
Was
grew
he?
up,
Yeah,
became
I
a
think
man.
Yeah.
you're right.
I
Because
I
yeah,
will
he's
say this, man.
2072.
He kicked ass. He has kick ass moves. I would have been curious to see. I don't know what happened to him as far as uh filmography. I don't know what he did after Surf Ninjas. I don't know if he
A
had
lot of
much of
stunt
a
work.
career.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of
think
But
stunt
he's more
work.
in the stunt now.
Yeah.
I gotta say, man, he knew his shit. I mean, the fight scenes,
I think he was
not
a
that.
fourth degree black belt in real life.
Oh, it
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah.
It shows. He was definitely an ass kicker. You could tell he
He's
knew
not an
what he was
actor,
doing.
but yeah, no, he can kick. He can't act worth a shit, but
Now,
he's a hell of a
did you
kicker.
look up anything about his father? So his father was the
His
guy that
father's in the
attached
movie
the.
too.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. So he plays. So his father is actually like in the International Hall of Fame of fighting. So his father
Wow.
also was like a Taekwondo champ. Like he also was like into, uh, you know, the whole fighting aspect and stunt work. That's kind of how he got his breakthrough. And then he also, I guess, had like some crazy school for taekwondo and martial arts for like 35, 40 years. So yeah,
wow.
it's like it's the quintessential, hey, everybody's fighting, everybody has fight movies. What if we too make a fight movie? And it's just
Mhm.
like, yeah, maybe there should be a little bit of acting involved.
Well,
Well,
that's
now
why they
who?
throw Rob Schneider in there and
Well,
let him make up
I
his
said
lines as he
acting.
goes along.
I said
Yeah.
acting, Scott. They threw Rob Schneider in. What does
Yeah.
Rob Schneider want? A Razzie? Well, get out of
Yeah,
here.
but compared to most of the other actors in this film, he's probably the most seasoned actor in this thing, and that's not saying a lot, but he probably is.
as I was saying, I would have been curious to see if he would have. Well, I don't know. Maybe not that curious. Maybe we should just go into the
Well, so he
plot and
got a
just
little bit
see.
of clout from not from this movie, but from doing the Ninja Turtle, the second one. He's in the second
Okay.
movie as
We're talking
Donatello.
about Junior. Yeah, right?
Yeah, Junior. So he
Yeah,
got
yeah.
signed by New Line Cinema to do a three picture deal. Like, oh, this kid maybe Ninja Turtles made it was successful. We think this kid has something. So this was his first movie of the three picture deal, and then they terminated it right after this
Ay,
movie. They're
ay,
like, yeah,
ay.
guess what? No more deal, Ernie. Sorry,
Oh
sorry.
man. I
Surf
mean,
Ninjas didn't
well,
quite cut it. so he was gone.
I don't know. I had a,
Poor Ernie.
I kind of liked him.
I see it. I get it. But, you know, I
kinda
feel
liked him.
bad for him, but I understand.